Hi guys. Okay. Um, can you all hear me? Can you please tell me if you can hear me? Can hi everyone. Okay, I'm just can you all hear me fine? Hi everyone. Welcome. Okay, you can hear me. Okay. So, I was just doing some experiments yesterday to test out some colors. So that's one part of my journal page, and I'm going to be creating the second part here on the adjacent page. And before that, welcome everyone. I'm so glad that y'all are here. I do see so many new people. Thank you so much for popping in. I truly appreciate it. And I'm so excited to be creating and being a part of the hop today. So now I think I'm just going to begin talking about my journal page. So I was actually inspired by this color palette from Nunu's recent project, a canvas that she'd made, and I was in awe of how the green, purple and gold go together. So I decided to test that color, and I created this page. I'm using my Jane Davenport journal here. So it comes with a nice thick textured paper, and it's just very this is my comfort journal, if I can tell you, because when I create mixed media journal pages, I think this really works well when I have to do different techniques just using acrylics or a lot of media. So the first step, let's begin. I'm going to coat my page with gesso, and I'm just using this scrap newspaper so that I don't end up with paint and media all over, because I have some pages already done behind this. Oh, favorite color palette, great. Yes, Nunu, happy colors. Hi Anna, hi Nikki, hi Lanet, hi everybody. I promise, keep trying to look at comments. I have my brother Nitish here on the laptop who's going to answer any questions or just fill me in as we go ahead. So I'm just going to coat my page with gesso because that just helps prime the paper for all the beautiful textures, the mediums, our paints and everything. Sometimes as I'm working, I forget to talk. So please excuse me if you notice I go quiet, or just drop in a comment reminding me. So that's my gesso coat done, and I'm going to quickly dry this. Cindy, this is a Jane Davenport journal. Actually, it was gifted to me by Kate Palmer in our first ever blog hop, which Nunu organized, and she'd created this fantastic cover for me because I told her I love purple. And it's just got a good texture paper. Only sometimes if I end up doing sort of heavy work where I have a lot of layers, then I glue 2 pages together, but otherwise a single page works well. Oh, thank you, Crystal. Yes, guys, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps when you like the videos, and to new people, do subscribe if you really enjoy. Thank you. So now my gesso is dry, and the first step that I want to do is go in with my background stamping. So here I'm using 3 stamps. This is the Bloom and Grow from Aall and Create. This one, I don't know what it's called, but it's from AB Studio, something from the mixed media range. And this is my most favorite stamp, one of the minis from Finn, the Messy Script, I think. So I'm going to go in with my black archival ink to first add some texture on my page. And because I'm complementing this page here on my left, I have similar elements and I'll be using the same color scheme. And I just begin stamping around my focal, which I plan to have somewhere here. Now this needn't be perfect. I am not really very particular about how crisp the image is going to be. It's just about getting some of this lovely texture here. So even if it's light and faded, I'm okay with that. Just randomly, you know, at some places making it dark, at a few places just light. And now I'll go in with that second stamp, adding these random alphabets. And end of the day, I know you're going to say, after we finish all the textures and the layering, most of this is not going to be visible, but some of it is, and that itself just adds such lovely details and elements wherever it peeks through. So that done, and now my little messy script, just very randomly dabbing it. I kind of love having the effect of this particular stamp on the edges of anything I do. I think this is my go-to stamp. I use it in almost every single project. Probably I'm just obsessed with it, I don't know, but I really love it. So that done. Usually archival ink dries instantly, but I'm just going to use my heat tool once. That's about it. So with stamping done, time to add some texture. Now I'm using 2 texture pastes here. I'm going to use the Ranger transparent matte as well as Finn's modeling paste. And these are the 2 stencils. So this one, I think it's from Tim Holtz. It's called Dot Fade. And this one is from Finn, the Manuscript. So yes, Nelly, isn't it? Yeah, I'm so happy that somebody else also loves that stamp. So first, with my transparent matte texture paste, I'm going to begin adding this texture through the dot fade. I'm having such a crisis moment. Most of my texture pastes and mediums have dried out or are completely over, and I can't really order them because no store is functioning here. So I'm just spraying water and getting the most of whatever I have with me right now. So very randomly, again, art journaling is about playing and having fun. Oh, the ink was Archival ink, this one from Ranger, jet black Archival ink, because this is permanent and it doesn't really, it's waterproof. That's the thing. Fast drying, waterproof. So I have that first layer of texture in place. And yes, Angela, I've been trying to make my own paste. And I think that's what I'm going to do next, my own gesso as well as texture paste. So I'm going to dry this before the second stencil. And I'm from India, and Nelly, thank you. I'll check Jess's channel. That's fast drying, and now I can go in with this manuscript. And meanwhile, let me just pull out some baby wipes because I'm going to get so messy. I'm going to really need these. Okay, so now going in with the modeling paste through the manuscript. And with the manuscript, I want to just focus on the sides so that it peeks through from all my layers. So I love the size of the stencil for such pages because it's big enough and I don't have to constantly move around, and I can just move my paste and get it at places where I really want it to show. And that's about it. Everybody watching these hops by now realizes how messy our stencils get because there's no time to really run and soak them in water. So that done, I'm going to quickly dry this paste. Hi Olga, sorry I had to rush off, so I'm going to go back and watch how you finished your page, and thank you. You know, thank you Maninder, I'll try the turpentine. Hello everyone who's joining in. I'm just going to go over what I've done. So I've just prepped my page with white gesso. I went in with some black stamping using black archival ink and 3 stamps. And now I've finished adding my texture using 2 stencils. I've used a transparent matte gel as well as modeling paste. So now with that done, time for some color play. Time to play with our Lindys, our magicals and all of those things. And now you're going to really see how messy I get. My fingers, my hands. And I can never ever imagine how Nuno you manage to keep your fingers clean when you work with color. In me, I can never do that. Okay, so I'm using this magical, the cement green, the teapot purple spray, golden sleigh bells and Gossamer gold. So these are the colors that I'm using, and I first am going to go in with the green and then with the purple. Yes, no, you are. Oh, so funny when you call me sensei. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to lightly mist my page with water first, so that when I put in the magical, it starts flowing. And here I have a few paint brushes. So I'm just going to take the green and sprinkle it around. And I mainly want my green on the right side, so I need to keep that in mind. Mist it with a little more water and first get this flowing a bit. And this is what I really enjoy, seeing the color flow, making it just flow with, you know, occasional misting and just adding a little more color here because I want more green. And also I'm going to be mindful because I want to leave those intentional white spaces, so I'm not going to fill it up with color completely. And I'm just going to lift some from the edges and go in with the purple, but giving this a little bit of a dry first. That's about it. And now on the left side, I'd like my purple. So I'm just going to dip my paintbrush in the bottle, and I better hold the bottle before I pour it all up on my work surface. And I'm going to gently start dabbing onto the left side at a few places, just merging it in to my green. But then I'm going to go in with that bright gold, and that's just going to do the magic, which I'm going to show you next. So a little bit of this purple, and I'm going to mist it with water just at the edges to let it flow a bit, so it gives me a natural look there. And I think just somewhere here, that should be good. So I'm going to, actually I need it again, so I'm going to set it aside. And now just a little quick dry and going in with this Gossamer gold. And I'm now directly going to splatter it, as you can see, focusing on the center where the green and purple need to merge, not letting it create that organic brown which it would, and adding my shimmer, this coppery, goldy, whatever lovely color this is. So it's an intentional blend of the green and purple which usually causes mud, but I choose to add that in the form of this shimmer. So I'm just going to move it around a little with the paintbrush at a few places, especially where I have that matte texture, because it really looks stunning when it goes around that with the shimmer. So that done, I'm going to quickly dry it. Hi Deb, I'm so happy to have you here. Hi Tiff. Hi Dreamwoods Butterfly. Hello everybody who's joining in. And my last splatter, which comes from this gold here, it just adds such lovely gold highlights, which you'll see when everything comes together. I'm going to go in with more splatter later, but let's just do some right now. So with that done, now there's another thing I need to do. I'm going to add a little green splatter on my purple side and a little purple splatter on my green side with the paintbrush. So that helps me merge and bring together all the colors that I've used. And now I can close my bottle and set it aside before I really pour everything up here. And for this green, I'm just going to mix some here directly on my glass mat. Every day when I sit to craft, and I know that I'm going to be working with sprays or pigments or anything, I intentionally decide that I'm going to go hunt for a palette. And then I just never find it. I never find it, and so I'm just happy creating all my mess here. So adding my green splatter on the other side. And that's it. So my colors are done. I can set them aside. And now for the elements, I'm just going to let this dry. I'll move this somewhere here. And I have already fussy cut some of these elements. So this, I've used a few papers from AV Studio. I think it's a mixture of Dreamland collection, and I really don't remember. I have it all listed in the description box under the supplies, but yeah, it just comes from a few of her fussy cut collections. So I've cut out a few elements, and what we need to now do is distress them. So now I'm going to use vintage photo distress ink as well as black Soot, and I just have my two blending tools with the foams here. So first, going in with vintage photo, I'm going to edge everything that I've cut. Now we could always leave it as it is, but I just feel like it adds this extra interest, and when I begin layering it all up on the page, it really makes it all pop up and stand out. So I'm just going to cut these elements. I'm just going to distress the edges. Okay, is there a question? Oh, so basically, I meant, you know, wait, I think my brother is telling me that I should read the comments. Is there anything that I've missed? Let me know as I work. So just kind of edging these with the vintage photo, and you can see I'm not being very particular about it. I just want some accent and that color. It also kind of hides those cut marks where you've not gone over and intricately cut all the details. So I'm just going to do this, and it really pops it all up. So I'm just going to do that with all my elements. This also is from the paper collection, and I just cut this butterfly out, but I remember it had a black background to it, so I just kind of trimmed the butterfly off from that. Okay, that done. And now for the feathers. So I also intentionally picked out some feathers that had a little purple, a little green, a little of that coppery brown and gold, so that it just goes with the colors I've picked for my background. So just adding these highlights. I'm not even sure if I'm going to use all of them, but I'm good. Yeah, I'm doing good with time, so I'm just going to distress them and see how the layering goes. Oh yes, butterfly. All of us love butterflies and bugs. I remember we had that whole Lindy conversation when Nunu was altering the brush with the bug. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you so much. So basically this, the left side, for anybody that missed, I was experimenting with this color scheme, looking at what I'd like to create, and I made this page, and I thought I'm just going to do something similar on the right side with different elements, so my double page spread says a story. So that was with the brown, and now let's go in with the black. You could choose to stop here, but it just really adds another layer of shadow behind that brown, and I'm just keeping myself confined to the edges, making sure I don't go completely inside, so that that brown shows through as well. So just doing that. Okay, so distressing takes a while. Actually, fussy cutting takes longer. That's the only reason why I cut out all these elements. I mean, sometimes fussy cutting is kind of monotonous and boring. What do you guys think? Do you guys enjoy fussy cutting? Do you do it as an activity when you're not really creating and just watching television or Netflix, and do you fussy cut? What do you do really? Let me know. Karen, these are from AB Studio Collection, Dreamland, and I think Amazing Life. So just only when you need some elements, you actually sit out and cut, right? Because I've heard of so many people who choose to just fussy cut randomly when they're not creating anything. Are you serious that Brothers Canon cuts out all of these? Oh my god, wow. Okay, that's news to me. Thank you, Nelly. I didn't know. So, just finishing up with the black. On my feathers as well. And my last feather for the black. So with that done, the distressing is now complete, and I can't really answer. I was looking for the lid of the black ink, and I can set that aside and bring back my journal. So everything seems to be dry. Just a quick okay, I'm just going to drink some water while I look at your comments. Yes, Nelly, fussy cutting is so strenuous. I think fingers and everything, I often find that they go numb, and so I find it such a boring task. Okay, so that's done, and now we can just sort of play around with the composition, layering the elements. So anything that's excess, I'm just going to cut it off later. But first I'm going to see how I want to play with positioning these. Actually, I cut out this butterfly because I was really drawn to this idea of it being half, and then I wanted to use it at the edge of my paper, at the edge of my page. So something like that, I guess. I can add maybe here, and the feathers. So yeah, I need to see where I'd like to layer these. Do you think that works? Do you think I should add this clock? Okay. Oops. Okay. Let's shift this a bit. How do you think this looks with that clock or without that clock? Okay, the butterfly is good there, great. I'm wondering if I want to add the clock or not. These feathers look okay. Okay, add it. I know, right? After exactly, this is what I was talking about, that once all the texture is made, and when we begin layering elements, you realize that most of it is not visible and covering it is hard. But I've learned that that's just how it works. It looks so good when elements peek out from here and there. At the clock. Okay, yes, the clock. Okay. So I'm gonna then begin gluing these things down, and I'm going to use some glue as well as foam tape so that a few of the elements stand out and pop up from my page. So that just brings in a lot of depth between these layers. And so let's first get this big piece down in place. And okay. So that was somewhere here. I'm just going to press it down a little bit so it stays and glues itself down. I haven't applied glue to the entire piece because I really like how, you know, it just pops out and glued at a few places. So I'm just going to make do with these bottles here. And that's as much as I wanted it down in place. And before I stick everything else, I'm going to trim this, because then when I store my journal, this anyway ends up, or I can leave it actually. I can leave it and let it fold over and decide if I want to cut it later. So that's in place, and let's see now. I wanted the butterfly here, and I'm going to probably pop that up. So I use some foam tape on my butterfly. And I'll glue my clock down first. So sometimes it's so hard to find the 12 on the clock, but it really doesn't matter. I can just have it anyway, right? So there, like it there. And now I can glue down my butterfly. I also use some glue on the foam tape just so that the butterfly sticks and doesn't eventually fall out. So that, I think I need a little more foam tape at the wing. And that pops it up. Now for this piece, which can go over, so I can use some glue here. There, yeah. And actually I want it to go under my clock, so I'll push it in there. And I could pop these feathers up, so that would bring in that dimension. Hi Kanika. Okay, so that can go over this. it here, there, and this could just stick in actually with a little bit of the glue. I love things popping out of my page. Then I later forget that when I store these journals, everything gets bent and damaged. So I'm going to try and, I don't know, I'll try to push this in my page somehow, but I can't help it. Yeah, there. At least it's slightly inside. That's it. That looks good. I have this feather left, but I think, do you think I should add this feather here on top? Does that look good? Just to balance the two here. I'm not sure if it's good with or without. What do you guys think? With or without? Yes? With. Okay, great. So I'm just going to glue that down there. Tiff, next is Karen. That's a lot of glue. I'm going to get my excess glue out. So I'm going to push this in and glue that down. Okay. Now, okay, thank you guys, thank you, yay. Okay, so that's done. And now I'm going to go in back with the golden bells spray and add more gold accent, because that's what sort of brings this entire page to life over my elements and on the page. So just going with this spray itself. I love splatter. Any and every project that I create has to have some splatter. I don't even know why, but I guess that's just a part of my style now. Splattering ink or watercolor or even acrylic paint for that matter. So that splatter works well for me. And this gold. And I can just now set aside most of the things here on my table. I need the glossy accents, but I can now dry this. Everyone's talking about coffee and I feel like I need a cup of coffee too. Mom is watching the live, so Mom, when I'm done, can you please bring me a cup of coffee? And now for a little more highlight, time to add the micro beads. And I'm generally very messy with this too. As you can see, I use like a scrap piece of packaging to mix my beads and glue and then glue them all down in place. So what I'm actually going to do is use up this remaining glossy accent that I have here. Add a little, and I have this cap from somewhere, so I'm going to mix up a little bit of the coppery micro beads as well as the gold, so that they mix up and then it's easy for me to just pour them where I need to. So that's done. Now this is a paintbrush exclusively for this gluey stuff. I'm just going to add the glue in places and then stick some of these micro beads. So again, I usually use what's that, gloss gel medium for this work, but that's over, and I realized that glossy accents work pretty well for it. It's just that it gives that touch of gloss, which sometimes some projects don't need, so there we need something matte, but for this it works pretty fine. And I'm just going to add it at places where, you know, two layers are merging so that it can peek through from underneath one layer. And this just adds another level of that beautiful accent and shine to the page. So I think I'm going to turn it around and just continue doing the same thing. But these are micro beads. I think you get them for flower making. That's the section that I've shopped for, because people who make flowers use them in the center for pollen. So some of them also sell them as pollen beads, but micro beads. Okay, Cindy has a question. Cindy, I've never heard of a texture gesso, guys. Have you all heard of a texture gesso? Because I've never heard of a texture gesso, because to me gesso is more of a thing to prep the surface, and texture paste is thicker in consistency. So yeah, Nicole is answering. Great. Because I've never heard of a texture gesso. Just I need a little more glue. Also just kind of adding it outside here, because it really looks like a nice flowy texture. Maybe a little bit here, peeking through under the flowers. A little bit down here, so I'm just going to turn it around. Just a little bit more underneath. And I'm wondering anywhere else. Okay. just a little here. With micro beads, there's never an ending. You always want to add a little more. That's it. So I think I'm done adding the beads, and that should be about it. Now comes the question. I love adding quotes, phrases, etc. to my pages because, like I said, then there's some meaning, there's a story to it. And I need help now picking out what I should really have on these two pages. So let me just first close up all these things so that I can get space on my table. And I have a few sticker elements here. This one is the 7 Dot Studio Garden Party collection. So there are a few good ones in this. I was mainly attracted to Backyard Adventure. Backyard Adventure or What an Incredible View. Not too sure, I'm just reading through. Bloom Where You're Planted. That also is good. Let me know if while I'm reading out something catches your attention and you think it goes well with this page. So I'm going to keep this on the side. So I said Backyard Adventure, and I'll have Nitish, my brother, just write these down in the comments. So there's Backyard Adventure. There's what did I say? Bloom Where You Are Planted. What else? Take Flight. I could even use all three. Just add 2 on one side, 1 on the other side. Take Flight. Okay, you guys like Take Flight? Fine. Take Flight goes on there. And I'm almost done, so I'm good on time. Yes, I'm good on time. I have 6 more minutes just to add my sentiment. And I'm just quickly reading through the comments. Yes, so here today I decided to use these fussy cut elements, but otherwise generally, Karen, I end up using my stamps. I also use stencils, wherein I stencil onto another piece of paper and I fussy cut that. So you can just make your own elements for the focal. Stamps are good, stencils are good. Sometimes even you get these Emphera packages, so those are also good. So, yes, Cindy, this is good, but unfortunately 7 Dot Studio doesn't sell anymore, so I'm sorry, you may not be able to get your hand on this. Okay, so I'm gonna use those two. Take Flight, somebody Bloom Where You're Planted. So I'm gonna add Bloom Where You're Planted and Take Flight. Where is Bloom Where You're Planted? Okay, Bloom Where You're Planted is here. But I think it would look better if I mount it onto some black cardstock, or white, or a scrap of white cardstock, and then just distress it. So I'm going to like hunt for a piece of paper. I just found something here. So I'm going to stick it down on that, leaving a border, and I'll cut it out. Bloom. Okay, everybody said bloom, so I've used that. So I'm just leaving a slight border so I can distress it with black, because that will make it pop out even more when I stick it on my page. the black distress ink here. And I'm going to glue that down over here. So I'm going to use some foam tape and make it pop up. So I think, yes, that just completes my page. And yeah, I'm on time. So glue where you're planted. And I'm surely going to add one more here. I'm going to see which one. But thank you so much, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed this session, and I'm just going to catch up on comments. Are there any comments? Are there any questions, anything that I need to answer? Anything anybody wants me to answer before we hop on over to Karen's channel? I have it listed in my description box below the link, and my brother is now chatting with you all about money heist, so I don't know, you can answer that. But yeah, thank you so much for visiting. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for subscribing, all the new subscribers. Constantly am at the task of creating and inspiring. Also, if you do create a page inspired, do use the hashtag @HomeWithUs, and if you're inspired by my particular thing, say @HomeWithAditi, tag me. That's me on Instagram, adi.mahajan. My brother's putting down these hashtags and the tag, so in case you do create something. Oh yes, Cindy, I'll hold it up before I end the video. So those are the hashtags. And Cindy, thank you Nunu, Alexander, Yesha, Lanette, Mom, Masi, everybody watching. Okay, load. Okay, so that I'm holding the page up. Cindy, can you see? Is that close enough? That's the sticker page. Is that good, Cindy? I've already used a few, so you can see the blank spots. So that's the sticker page. I could, yeah, that's that. The hashtags are in the comments. So if you do end up, do that. And a closer view of the journal page with the details. That's a look at all the, I don't know, shine, vintagey, whatever vibe you want to call it. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. Much love to you all, and let's hop on over to Karen's channel. Bye.